Well, hello everyone. This is Rick Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we're going to be tying a little it is a blob pattern, but it's not using the traditional blob chenille. This one is a pattern that Gary Hanke out of Edmonton, Alberta came up with, or modified or whatever. I'm not sure if he actually came up with it, but it's definitely, it's where I learned it from. How's that? And with my twist. So I'm going to put a little twist into his pattern. He doesn't put one material in it that I do. So, but let's get her going. So in the vise today we have a Hends BL 599 and a size 8. It's a fairly large fly. I'm going to use some Semperfli ice chenille in this reddish brown. I'm going to use Semperfli classic waxed in fluorescent red or orange. And then I'm going to use some yellow and some orange strung marabou in a material clip right now. So it's all ready. So here we go. So just going to start it right behind the eye. I'm going to go down. I don't want to go around the bend. Stop about there. Cut that off. Make my dubbing loop for the marabou that's going to be put in here, and then I'll just put my dubbing loop off to the side. Okay, then I'm going to come forward. I'm going to put in my eye straggle. This is one of those flies that if you're prepared, you can just fly through it. So I'm going to go back to where I stopped, about there, come back. Now I'm going to create a bit of a body underneath. I want it to be nice and leggy, like that. Stroke all that material back. You can come up over top of it a bit, because we will want to build a bit of a nice hot spot orange head on the end here. Cut that off. So now I take my dubbing spinner and just make sure this thing is ready. Put my dubbing spinner on. I'm gonna put some extra wax, even though this is a wax thread. I definitely want to put some extra wax on this. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is take my longer scissors, my longer ones, and cut right along that stem in my, what I have here in my tool, right along the stem, because that's all I want, right? So make sure this dubbing spinner is on correctly. Offer up my material. Way. Bring that up there. Let go of my mirror. Nope, don't yet. It wasn't in properly. Popped off. I'm going to use, sorry about that, guys. Just bumped the camera. I'm going to actually use my other dubbing spinner. I find that one, it's great, but I find when I'm trying to finicky around with two hands, I find this one, this simple one, the simple weighted one like this, much better. So do that again. Put this. The reason it's happened, it was popping off of the two little hooks on the end, and that's a pain because then it won't keep it open, right? So okay, put that in again. There's my marabou. Pinch, spin. Spin, let it take it, spin, let it take it, spin, let it take it, and then I'll take my bodkin and just pick out some of these fibers that are getting caught. Sort of make sure that none of them are caught. I mean, you can pick these out later anyway, but just makes it nicer now. So that's one yellow and one orange feather. Okay, so now I'm going to back, just get to where my material starts, and then I'm going to start stroking all this back, just like as if, why do I keep bumping this camera today? As if I'm making like a leech, and then I'm gonna leave a bit of a space every time I come around, but I mean just a tiny bit of a space every time I come around, just so I can see that chenille from underneath. So now I'll take my bodkin again, just give this a pick out. And if you don't like using the bodkin, use your brush. It'll work as well. Just make sure it catches those trapped materials. And again, come forward. 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 All the way up. I'll get those, all that, anything that's trapped, I'll get it after. One more. Tie that off. And then I will build just a little bit of a head here, pulling everything back. A little bit of a head. Pull that stuff back. Okay, and I'll cut off my dubbing loop. I'll give it a whip finish right where it is. I'm not done yet, but I'm going to give it a whip finish so I don't pull it out. I was fishing with Gary using this last year, and oh man, was he killing them. Doing so well. He ties his just a slightly different way, but just pull all that material out of there, make sure none of those are trapped in there. Pull that all back. Okay, and then I'm just gonna get it a little bit wet. And when this is wet, those little red, the little reddish brown little fibers, you can just see them just barely. But when this gets wet, they stick out a bit more. So now what you do is just go just past the hook, bend, and start tearing. Because obviously you don't want it that long, right? So you just start tearing just past the hook bend. But I don't cut, I tear. I think anybody that's been watching me long enough, anytime I use Marabou, I always say this thing: never ever cut Marabou, ever, ever, ever. It looks unnatural. So there is pretty well the finished blob. Just going to build a bit better of a hot spot head here. And then I'll tie this off. And then I'll show you guys how another version of this, I'll just show, I'm not going to tie it, but I'll show it to you. Another version of this where that underbody sticks out more. So there you go. I'll head cement that. But there is your Marabou blob, Gary's Marabou blob. That's it. It's really simple. And then, like I said, this one here, it sticks out more because what I've done, I haven't done a full blob. All I've done is I've tied the material on, and then I've just done in the front a hackle, a collar. That's all I've done, right? A collar of the yellow. And this gets wet, that really slicks down, and that red sticks out nicely, right? So this one I've had really good success with. So this is color scheme wise, this one is the one that Gary's done really well with, is the orange and yellow. And like I said, he doesn't put that this underbody on it. He just ties it like this, and then he'll tie some of these a little shorter. Like he'll nip this even more, just depending what you're wanting, right? So, but when this is wet, let's get that wet. Right, there you go. Right, so it's a bit of a blobby type thing as well. And like I said, he's did really, really well with this one last year, and I did quite well with this one last year. So, alrighty. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. It's a little different than your normal British style blob. It's something a little different, and you know, play with your patterns. Like I was just sitting around the bench a couple of days ago and just playing with patterns, and I came up with like a few others that I played with. Right, just a blob chenille, and then a marabou collar. When that gets wet, almost like an egg with an egg sac on it, right? Because that'll slick back. So I did that, and then I came up like I tied a bunch more of the similar ones that I just tied. I did a bunch of fabs. I did a bunch of regulars. I did these here, which I've been using for a while, and I actually just did this tying video for sport fishing on the fly. So that'll be coming out soon. But yeah, just play around with your stuff. Like I said, this is all like kind of a blob stuff, more of an attractor than it is a fly. You know what I mean, like an insect. But sometimes that's what you need. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, please consider doing so. I'll see you guys in the next time video. Ciao, lines!